So the next technique I want to talk about is the technique of freezing. What this is whenever a clinician and client together, so we'll just say they're doing an activity, excuse me, and the client is in the midst of a stutter, the clinician will then instruct them to hold on to that stutter, so they're essentially freezing in that present time for a certain period of time. While in that stutter, the clinician will beforehand, before they actually start the activity, will have a gestures that they'll use to instruct the client what to do. So if they have their fist closed and they begin to open it, that's telling the client to release that tension. If they want to tell the client to maybe speed up the stutter, you can raise your hand, or if you want the client to slow down the stutter, you can raise down your hand. And as I said before, once you have done and they've been that stutter for a period of time, you can open your hand to instruct your client to let go. So the purpose of this is to help the client become aware of the physical tension within their articulators. They are also, it allows them to build up a tolerance of their stuttering. Then they have to learn to have more of a feeling of control. But this technique is probably one of the harder ones, and not something you should maybe start out with, just because, like I said, it can be very hard at first for them to hold that physical intention in. But so what I'll do is right now is I'll demonstrate an example of what the clinician would do if they were instructing a client in this activity. So I was going to go to the store, and then when I got to the store, I saw my grandma. She said hello, and then I went to the meat aisle. So that was a little bit of a goofy phrase of going to the store, but that kind of gives you an idea of what the clinician or how they would instruct the client when they're going over this technique.